What is up, guys? My name is Jason Whan, and in this video we're going to be talking about how to make money. So if you Google how to make money or you search it up on YouTube, right, you're just going to get a bunch of videos telling you to get rich quick by dropshipping, completing surveys. You can build 10 side incomes if you just do what they say, right? But when you finish watching those videos, you're still kind of just left there thinking, so what the hell am I supposed to be doing, right? Yeah, so there are just so many ways to, somehow make money these days online, drop shipping, completing surveys, being an Uber driver. Okay, that's not online, but, or, starting a YouTube channel, like kind of what I'm doing, or writing a blog, right? So these are some of the typical recommendations that the internet throws at you when you search up how to make money, right? So yeah, sure, starting a dropshipping business or being an Uber driver, it can definitely make you money, and I've definitely heard of many success stories where people make a lot of money dropshipping. I actually have a close friend of mine who, well, not a close friend, but I have a friend whose friend's brother started a dropshipping business, and they're selling like dog beds or something, and that guy is just making like $1 million a year or something, and he's already bought himself a house at like 25 years old, and he's just really successful. So it definitely can make you money, but something that's really important, and that's I feel like a rare sort of case where you can make millions of dollars from dropshipping, and I feel like most people aren't just it's just not going to work for a lot of people. And I think what some people are lacking is that dropshipping, I feel like it doesn't really have any sort of, at least for me, it doesn't have any sort of real meaning or purpose to it, because I don't find dropshipping satisfying, and it's just not for me. And I think, yeah, the most important thing is that what you're doing, your work, it really has to have meaning, and that's the only way that you're going to stick to it. Because if you're just drop shipping for the sake of earning money, if you don't see any value in it, if you don't see any meaning in it, if you don't feel like you're contributing to society in any meaningful way, well, you're just going to sort of stop doing it when things get hard, right? And that's exactly what happened to me. I just didn't see the value in drop shipping, and so I just couldn't sustainably work on a drop shipping business, and I just gave up. So yeah, I tried dropshipping about 4 years ago, and I looked around for really random things like, AirPod cases, cat beds, leather bags, jackets. I always had the sudden temptation to start dropshipping, and I believed that I'll be able to obtain all of this, passive income, but I'll just fizzle. My efforts would fizzle after, I wasted some money on some random cat beds, made in some AliExpress factory, right? And yeah, it just goes to sort of show that, like, you can't sustainably do something if you don't feel like it has meaning. And Henry Ford has a quote, and it's, "Wealth, like happiness, is never attained when sought after directly. It comes as a byproduct of providing a useful service." So yeah, this quote by Henry Ford basically summed up the missing piece of my puzzle, and it was just that I was completely focused on making money, and instead I should have been focused on providing a useful service to others, and making money would have then naturally occurred as a byproduct. So, and considering how, like, it's so replicable, some of the online businesses that a lot of people are trying to do these days, it's just really it made me think, is what makes a service sought after or valuable, right? And some of the things that popped into my head were excellence, how good is your product, right? If it's really bad, well, no one's going to use it. And then there's like reliability, so trustworthiness, you know, your ratings on Google Maps, right? That's actually pretty important because, you know, I feel like so many times if you look at a business on Google Maps and it's just 3 stars, well, you're just not even going to use that business, right? And then there are some other things like usefulness, right? Is it actually useful? And then the last thing that I came up with was uniqueness, right? It's not the last thing, but the last thing that I decided to contemplate on, and that was uniqueness. And I think uniqueness is actually a very important characteristic of a valuable service, because uniqueness is the individuality of something. It's how easily a service or a product, how easily it can be replicated, right? And that may be actually a deciding factor for how valuable a service is perceived to be. Just think about it, you know, a Tesla, how easily is that replicated? Or, you know, an Apple iPhone, how easily can that be replicated, right? And it's exactly because these things are very difficult to replicate, and that's what makes it valuable, because it's rare, right? Not just anyone can, you know, build an iPhone. So yeah, if you're providing a service, perhaps you want to think about how unique your service is, because the less unique your service is, the less money you will probably make, because it's seen as less valuable, because it's less scarce. So why does a janitor not make that much money? Well, that's because the service being provided is way too easy to replicate. Anyone can pick up a mop and, you know, mop the ground and be a janitor. So why does a software engineer make so much more money than a janitor? Well, that's because software development and coding cannot be replicated by everyone, right? You have to learn how to code. You have to be quite proficient in mathematics. And yeah, it requires a high degree of intelligence, and not everyone is cut out for software development. And so it's quite unique in a sense, and that makes it rare. And that means the people who are good at coding, well, they're going to be sought after because they can provide a unique service. So yeah, you know, you can be a reliable, excellent, very useful janitor with a very high rating on Google Maps, but your service is just not unique. So you probably won't make more money than, you know, let's say a junior software engineer. So yeah, it really doesn't make too much of a difference if you're in the wrong jungle, so to speak. And yeah, in the current age that we live in, you know, the internet age, literally anyone can just plug in a microphone and just start talking on the internet and, you know, create a YouTube channel, like exactly what I'm doing. So, or you may ask, like, okay, like what's the point of, you know, like me doing a, you know, a blog channel if anyone can just talk into the microphone and, you know, it's easily replicated? Well, there's a catch, because the thing is, every individual is totally unique, right? There's not going to be another you. There's only one you, and that makes you totally unique. Your individuality totally belongs to you, and no one can steal that from you. So that makes you unique. And as long as you stay unique and you be yourself, and you can, you know, provide value through just being yourself, well, that's a unique service, because no one can compete being you. So yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, so that's it for this video, and so thank you guys for listening.